Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, my channel only exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. So let's get into today's video. In today's video, we are going to be testing out another fantastic, cheap, non-XL option. It's especially cheap if, unlike me, you're on the regular. But of course, on this channel, we are going to be running the Shadow variant, and the Pokemon I'm on about is Tangrowth. You can see it on screen now. IVs are average, it's about a rank 700, but it's the best one that I had. So, why is Tangrowth a fantastic option? Well, you remember last season, Rockslide got nerfed. And one of the Pokemon that was probably most affected by this was Tangrowth, as before it had the ability to one-shot Charizard. With the nerf, you was unable to one-shot Charizard, and due to Vine Whip being double resisted, you were unable to fast move farm it down. So what would have been a great matchup then turned into a very poor matchup. So with Shadow bonus, of course, we now bring back that ability at the cost of a bit of a lack of bulk. But it is what it is. We love lack of bulk on this channel. We're all about the team glass cannons. So the team we're pairing it with is going to be the Polowrath and the Muk. And I've spent a lot of resources on them. I want to get some more use out of them. So without any further ado, let's get into the battles. We will be leading Shadow Tangrowth for the duration of this video. We pick up a lead against a very XL Galarian Stunfisk. We hit them for neutral with our Power Whip, and they hit us for neutral with a Rockslide. However, Rockslide from them does not get stabbed, and we are getting stabbed on these Power Whips. You are going to see this Power Whip is going to hurt a lot more. They're over farming massively. I've got no idea why, as Earthquake is resisted, so if they're going to stay in, you may as well spam out Rockslide as soon as possible. The opponent goes down with a lot of energy, in comes a Ninetales. So I count to 5, we catch the Weather Ball on our Polowrath. You don't often see fighters getting swapped into Charmers or Fairies, but in this case, we want to see what's in the back. And we draw out a Venusaur, so this is great for us. These Ice Punches will hit for super effective, and they do quite a lot. We managed to get to 2 as they are over farming quite a bit. First one got the shield, the second one goes unshielded. We are now going to let our Polowrath go down, as Muk is a complete wall to this thing. However, they are loaded full of energy, so I'm going to bring in Tangrowth, look to get off this Rockslide, hope to draw another shield, and at least get them to expend their energy. We don't draw a shield, and we snipe them with Muk. Back up comes that Fairy, and they don't want none of this smoke. So that's off to a 1-0 start. You can see that this team has got decent coverage against the meta. However, we are still pretty weak to a confusion user. So, moving on into this next battle. We pick up a lead against the Shadow Machamp. This is quite scary, as obviously Shadow Machamp pretty much bust through everything. They instantly swap into a Charmer, so I am already worried that this is going to be a double Charm team. With that in mind, I get rid of this Tokus as quickly as possible, and they bring back the Machamp. So this definitely indicates to me that they have got double Charmers. Machamp does not have a great matchup against a pure Poison type. You see these Poison jabs are shredding them. I am going to shield it up just to get off a bit more damage. They do bait us with a cross chop, but we are going to be able to outpace them to this next Thunder Punch. The opponent is now shieldless, so we can let Muk go down as it's done its job. They do take us out with a cross chop, and I'm now going to bring in the Polowrath. They instantly swap into the back Charmer like we thought, and you're now going to see just how hard that this Tangrowth with Shadow bonus hits. This Power Whip coming through does around 60% health, and they're now in Rockslide range. You can see even the Vine Whip got them down deep into the red, so we're going to get rid of them as soon as possible. The Machamp comes back in. It is going to be able to farm us down, but Polowrath is really thick. Cross chop comes through, does around 40%. We're going to be able to shield this next one up, and we're going to be able to mud shot farm down. So although we are a bit weak to Charm, we do manage to beat a double Charm team. GG's to that opponent. Off to a 2-0 start. We pick up one of the worst possible leads in Abomasnow. I switch into the Polowrath, and we are met with an absolute hard counter of Galvantula. We are going to be able to spam out a few Ice Punches. We draw the first shield, and we get to the second Ice Punch before they've even got to a move.
The Ice Punch goes unshielded, doesn't do a lot. Galvantula isn't as glassy here as it is in the Great League. They do fire off some energy though, as they don't want to get hit with a third Ice Punch. We are now going to wait out our switch time, and we're going to have to bring in Tangrowth. Tangrowth also doesn't have a great matchup here, as due to their bug electric type, they do resist Power Whip. However, we are going to be able to overfarm slightly. Well, I thought we could overfarm slightly. We are going to have to now double shield. But now as they have, we are now going to overfarm to 2 rock slides. We're going to take them out just before they get to their next move. And we should have a rock slide ready for this Abomasnow. The opponent wisely, I say wisely, they've made an alright call, as they know I'm now going to have to expel this energy, which isn't great for us, as they obviously didn't want to take the rock slide on the Abomasnow. So in the back, they have a Politoed. Again, it looks like we're pretty much hard counted throughout. Politoed can one-shot us with Earthquake, and they are hitting us for super effective with these mud shots. The opponent fires off a Blizzard, so they're not actually running Earthquake. You can see I'm at the Thunder Punch. I don't actually throw it until I've got almost 2. I fire it off last minute, just before I get farmed down. And the reason I do this is I need to come and farm the health with Tangrowth to get to a rock slide on this Abomasnow. I know I'm going to survive this Weather Ball, and I'm hoping that this rock slide with Shadow bonus one-shots. However, Abomasnow, especially XL, is quite thick, and unfortunately we don't quite do it. I'm sure you all know that I love Cradilly, so in that situation, that play with Cradilly and its Stone Edge, we would have won the match. Unfortunately, Tangrowth's rock slide, not getting stabbed, doesn't quite have that ability. So we're off to a 2-1 start, and in this matchup we're met with a Waterfall Kingdra. The Kingdra is staying in, so I imagine they're going to be double weak to us. Due to this, I am going to shield up, which I hope is an outrage. We correctly shield the outrage, and we look to fast move farm down. And they bring out a Clefable. Seeing how much that neutral Power Whip did, I'm hoping to get a shield with this rock slide, which we do. And I'm now going to hit him with the harder hitting Power Whip. This Power Whip should do over 50% of his health, even though it's XL. You can see we bring it deep into the yellow. And now we can bring in our Muk. I obviously had to let the Tangrowth go down, as our Polowrath really does not want to see a Charmer. So we now fire off this Thunder Punch into the Politoed, and this is going to be a GG. I do stay in, trying to get them to expel their energy. They will need to go for an Earthquake, but I don't think they've got the energy, so it's just a Weather Ball. So we get to this next Thunder Punch. This should draw the opponent's last shield, which it does, and I now instantly swap into its brother, the Polowrath on Politoed matchup. They can fire whatever they want. I'm not going to shield, as nothing will one-shot us. It's just a Weather Ball. And we're going to get to this Dynamic Punch to take the match. So, like you saw in the Oxford U video, the battle of the Polowrath Politoed, this was the battle of the Shadow Polowrath, and still Polowrath prevails. GG's to that opponent. So in this matchup, we led our Shadow Tangrowth into a Venusaur. Obviously that was terrible. I did count to 7 and attempt to catch a Sludge Bomb on Muk, which would have been resisted. The opponent doesn't throw, and they switch into a Politoed. They stayed in for a while, farming up a lot of energy, so this Politoed now potentially is giving us the option to win switch. The opponent is over farming massively. They also timed their charge move terribly, so we're going to have to let this fast move through. The Poison Jab is going to get him super low, and again they time it poorly, and we get another Poison Jab through. So I can now shield this up. The Poison Jab you saw just go through is going to take him out. We are now loaded full of energy, and we have maintained switch in the one shield, which is great for us. So we're now going to see what's in the back. In the back is a Kingdra, so this is potentially winnable for us. You've seen before, these Dark Pulses do really chunk, do around 50% of health. I do now instantly swap into the Tangrowth. I know the opponent's going to shield this up, but they don't want to let the Kingdra go down with so much energy. We've managed to draw back out the Venusaur. So Tangrowth essentially now is just going to use this shield. The Venusaur has expelled its energy. I can now come in with Muk, even though it's got hardly any health. I'm not going to get Vine Whip down, so I'm going to be able to shield this move up. I'm going to be able to go for the Dark Pulse, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to Poison Jab it down, so our Polowrath isn't going to have to see this Venusaur. You can see the Poison Jabs are really chunking, and just they're about to get to the move, we simultaneously KO. So polowrath comes in, we're going to be able to tank whatever they're going to throw, and outrage will do around 75% of our health. Maybe a bit more, maybe 80%. But we get to this dynamic punch, and this dynamic punch is going to be able to win the match. So in that matchup, our opponent let us off the hook. They should have probably instantly swapped out. They thought that polowrath, or polytoad, sorry, had a great matchup against our Muk, but that far ahead on energy, and the fact they timed their charge moves quite poorly, allowing us to get a fast move through both times, meant we can actually win the match, and we go 4-1 in that set. So overall, Tangrowth is a fairly decent pick. I do think his lack of bulk does really cost it a little bit. I'd probably say that Shadow Venusaur is still better. However, if you want to run it in a team comp with two things weak to confusion, you probably need something that's at least neutral. So in this team, I would say, even though we didn't go 5-0 like we did yesterday, the 4-1 was a very solid set. And I do think this team has good play against the meta. And you can actually run this as a triple non-XL team, as you can obviously use a polowrath under level 40. Mine is actually XL, but you could run this team as a completely non-XL team for people that are under level 40. So it's just some team ideas. I've also managed to record some other great content that's going to be coming to you. I've got Stone Edge Machamp in the Master League. I've got Shadow Golduck, which is kind of crazy, but it was actually really fun. And I've also got some other stuff in the pipeline, like Shadow Flygon. So if you're interested in that sort of content, or you enjoyed this content, I really appreciate if you smash that like button, and I'll see you all in the next one.